the temples dedicated to revered sages, including Vishishta, Vishwamitra, Agastya and Valmiki, along with Devi Ahilya. This will be followed by a stop at the Sheshavtar Mandir. Around 11 am, he will visit the Mata Annapurna Mandir before offering Darshan and Puja at the Ram Lalla Garbha Grah and later at the Ram Lalla Garbha Grah. Now, the highlight of the day unfolds at noon when the Prime Minister will ceremonially hoist the saffron flag atop the shikhar of the Ram Janmbhoomi temple. The flag carries the radiant sun, the sacred symbol Om and the Kovidara tree, reflecting the virtues and valor of Lord Ram and the ideals of Ram Rajya. The ceremony coincides with the auspicious Vivah, Panchami and the Abhijit Muhurat, adding divine significance. Now, the event will start with the culmination of the temple's construction and celebrates India's cultural continuity and unity. I'm joined in by my colleague Sabya. As of now, there's a lot of anticipation. We are coming very close to that moment when that saffron flag will be hoisted at the shikhar and probably signaling one of the biggest cultural continuities of the civilizational aspect of the country, culturally as well. How is Ayodhya turning out to be? And at the same time, there must be so much of anticipation on the ground.
Well, that's right. There's a lot of anticipation as far as the devotees and the locals are concerned because we have spoken to a lot of people on ground, the devotees who are coming in from different places. They say that it is a win for the Sanatan Dharma because it's a wait that they have been waiting for almost 500 years. And with the Dhwajarohan ceremony taking place today, it marks the completion of the construction of Ram Temple. Yesterday I have spoken with a lot of shopkeepers as well in Ayodhya. In fact, they also have said that the construction, after the construction of Ram Mandir, a large footfall of devotees could be seen in Ayodhya. And today marks the auspicious day because today is also the Vivah Panchami, which means the marriage ceremony of Lord Ram and Ma Sita. And that makes it very auspicious, and that is the reason why the locals from Ayodhya will be gathering on road when Prime Minister Narendra Modi will carry out the road show. Now, what is interesting to note is that in several tales of Lord Ram was heard having a meal with people from Nishad community as well as from Shabarima, and people from these communities will be part of the road show, and also they have received the invitation from the Ram Mandir Trust to be part of the Dhwajarohan ceremony. And also what is interesting to note is that people who have not received invitation earlier, people from various societies, they also will be part of the ceremony. Around 6,000 to 8,000 people will be part. Will straight away speak to some of the devotees. Ma'am, आपसे पूछूंगा, आज ध्वजारोहण का जो कार्य है वो होने वाला है राम मंदिर में, कैसे आप देखते हैं इस?
हम लोग के लिए बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य का बात है कि धर्म ध्वजा का स्थापना होने जा रहा है और इस अवसर पर हम लोग अयोध्या में उपस्थित हैं। इससे बड़ा सौभाग्य का कोई बात हो ही नहीं सकता है कि राम जी का जन्म स्थल और हम लोग यहाँ है। इससे बड़ा खुशी कोई आज तक मिला ही नहीं। और स्वर्ग अयोध्या को देख रहे हैं, स्वर्ग द्वार कहा गया है, सच में स्वर्ग हो गया है। इस सतयुग का याद दिला रहा है। हम लोग देखे नहीं सतयुग, लेकिन लग रहा है कि ऐसा ही रहा होगा, सतयुग ऐसा ही रहा होगा राम जी के नगरी।
मैडम, आप क्या कहेंगे, कैसा माहौल देख रहे हैं पूरे अयोध्या में?
बहुत अच्छा माहौल देख रहे हैं। तो धरती का स्वर्ग है, हम सब स्वर्ग में हैं। हम सबका सौभाग्य है जो मेरा जन्म सफल हो गया, जो धरती के स्वर्ग में हम आज से नहीं समझिए तो जन्म से पहले यानी कि माँ के गर्भ से ही आ रहे हैं। यहाँ मेरे दादाजी आते थे, दादाजी मेरे रेलवे में गार्ड थे ग्रेड के, और वहीं यहाँ पर रूम भी लिए हुए हैं, और उन्हीं के कृपा से हम सब यहाँ आते हैं। राम जी के जन्मभूमि में मेरे लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है।
I'll speak to more women.
Sabyasachi, I think right now we are in fact seeing the Prime Minister's cavalcade moving through Ayodhya, where he is in fact being received by the people there of Ayodhya, waving towards him, his cavalcade and his motorcade moving on that particular street where he is headed towards the Saptmandir, and of course a lot of people have in fact lined themselves on the streets to welcome him. His cavalcade there moving towards that particular temple where he would be in fact starting with his journey and also culminating with the flag hoisting that has been scheduled at around 12 o'clock is what we expect that flag hoisting to in fact take place. This is the roadshow just ahead of the ceremony, and the Prime Minister and his cavalcade there moving through the streets of the historic Ayodhya city. What we understand is he would be at the Saptmandir complex, which houses temples dedicated to revered sages, including Vashishta, Vishwamitra, Agastya and Valmiki, along with Devi Ahalya, Nishad Rajguha and Mata Shabri. Now this will be followed by a stop at the Sheshavtar Mandir. Well, for more on this, I'm also joined in by a panel of our guests who in fact join us. Arun Anand, author and senior journalist, joins us. Karthik Chopra, spokesperson, the Nirmohi Akhada, also joins us. Well, let me go in fact first to Arun Anand, author and senior journalist. Arun Anand, how important is this when you talk about the whole Ram Janmbhoomi movement, the construction of the temple, the final aspect of it being the hoisting of this flag? How important is this particular event when we look back into the entire journey of the Ram Janmbhoomi movement?
The flag hoisting ceremony or Dhwajarohan, it has got a special place in the Bharatiya spiritual as well as Adhyatmic basically tradition. In the Bharatiya tradition, it marks the completion. The first thing it signifies is basically the victory of dharma over adharma. That is the victory of the closest translation of dharma, you can say, is righteousness over unrighteousness. So that marks the final victory when this Dhwajarohan happens on the temple. Second is that it also, before the Dhwajarohan is done, so the temple is considered to be silent and inactive. So it also, in the Bharatiya spiritual tradition, the hoisting of a flag or Dhwajarohan marks basically the activation of a sacred space which is called the Kshetram or Kshetra. And it also signifies that, now the devotees can come and through the temple they can connect with the universal consciousness or the deity. Third, the Dhwajarohan ceremony is also important because it also symbolizes that that the deity has become active now, and now you can come to the Garbha Grah or you can come to the deity and seek deity's blessings. It also marks the ascent of it also symbolically marks the ascent of the prayers which are being offered by devotees to the deity. So these are, and if you look at it scientifically, it helps in providing the temple safety from events like lightning. So that is why this Dhwajarohan ceremony is important.
We are also joined in by Karthik Chopra, spokesperson for the Nirmohi Akhada. Karthik Chopra, a long wait. It's been quite a long wait when it comes to this particular aspect. Some of them say that it is a 500-year wait that is ending today and a new era beginning. How do you in fact see this?
For us, we see this as a phenomenal victory of humanity. And this flag hoisting today is the culmination for us of a 498-year-old struggle for the Nirmohi Akhada, which constantly through centuries kept fighting to regain the Holy Land, was the first in the courts. We started our cases in 1856 to retrieve the Ram Mandir. And for us, this flag hoisting ceremony is very important because in our ancient Ramanandi Bairagi philosophy, if you can have a darshan from afar of the flag of the holy temple, it is akin to getting darshan of the deity in the temple itself. So this flag going up for us is a victorious event. It is a victorious event for truth. It is a victorious event for righteousness. And it is something that we are so proud of today and so happy that we have finally lived to see this day. Countless generations of our sages have perished. It has been a huge collective movement to build this temple, to be able to regain this. And we are very, very grateful to God today that we can see these holy darshans today.
Well, Arun, interestingly enough, can you just talk about the symbolisms involved on the flag? You have the Kodivara tree, you have the sun as well as the Om symbol that is associated. How is these symbols associated with the temple and in spirituality at large when it comes to the Ram temple?
See, Om signifies the primordial sound, and Om is basically, you can say, the poster image of Hindu Dharma. So that is why Om, every major ceremony or every kind of basically activity in Hinduism, you start it with basically the chanting of Om. So Om is and Om is at the as I've said, that it's a primordial sound. So Om is considered to have given birth to this universe. So it's like going back to the basics. So second, the sun. So it signifies two things. So one, it signifies, that Bhagwan Ram or Shri Ram was Suryavanshi and basically his lineage. And second thing it signifies is basically, because sun provides you with, the life. So it's a symbol of, life on this universe. And along with Om, when you put these two symbols together, so it means basically, the existence of life, and the aim of or objective of your life is to connect with the universal consciousness, which is at the core of the Bharatiya spiritual tradition.
Karthik Chopra, another big question that is also looking forward when it comes to the entire aspect of the Ram temple is this: how much of a cultural relevance that we are seeing is being reenacted when we have the new temple? How much of civilizational continuity has been in fact regained when we go with this tradition?
That for all of us here, Bharat, regaining the Ram, seeing the Shri Ram Janmbhoomi temple again is a revival of our spiritual backbone, because for us, Bhagwan Shri Ram is our Ishtadev. And to see this again shows that Bharatiya Sabhyata and Hindu Sabhyata can never ever be demolished. We may have in the past lost our temples to the invaders, but our faith, our resolve to continually struggle, most of it peacefully, let me tell you, to be able to get back our ancient heritage is something that we can all be very, very proud of, and that the world can look at us and see how we are reviving our ancient culture, our ancient tradition, our ancient philosophy, our ancient religion. This is something that I think that we as Bharatiyas can be most proud of, to be able to see that this ancient holy shrine is again alive, breathing, living, and existing before us.
Just stay with me, gentlemen. My colleague Abhijit Thakur was able to speak to a group of Gurukul students who have been quite excited when they are at the location and they are able to witness this. Let's in fact listen to that report coming in from Abhijit Thakur.
अयोध्या में आज तमाम सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रमों के लिए मंच तो बनाया ही गया है और कलाकार अपने प्रदर्शन भी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उसके साथ ही गुरुकुल के छात्रों को भी बुलाया गया है जो कि यहाँ पर रोड शो देखने के लिए और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का स्वागत करने के लिए आप देखिए किस तरीके से पंक्तिबद्ध होकर यहाँ पर इंतजार कर रहे हैं सुबह से ही। हम बातचीत भी करने की कोशिश करेंगे। कहाँ से हैं आप लोग?
श्री उदासीन संगत ऋषि आश्रम से।
अच्छा, कब से यहाँ पर आपको आज आमंत्रित किया गया है?
जी
बिल्कुल। और देखिए तमाम ऐसे छात्र हैं। क्या नाम है आपका?
विवेक त्रिपाठी मेरा नाम है।
अच्छा, आज आपको प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के स्वागत के लिए आपको यहाँ पर बुलाया गया है।
जी,
तो आप इस ऐतिहासिक पल के आज साक्षी बनेंगे। क्या क्या आप लोग को निर्देश दिए गए?
हम सबको निर्देश दिया गया कि जब नरेंद्र मोदी आए तो स्वस्ति वाचन का पाठ करना है, हमको वेद पाठ करना है, और उसके बाद फिर हम सबको आराम से सब एक साथ मिला के कि हम उनको आदर सत्कार दे सकें, कि उनको और अच्छा लगे, उनको और गर्व हो कि हमारे इस छात्र भी हमारा साथ दे सकते हैं।
किस तरीके से पाठ करेंगे, थोड़ा सा करके दिखा सकते हैं अगर कोई?
ओम स्वस्ते न इंद्र बृहत्तरवाः स्वस्ति नः उका विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तारक्षो आरिष्टानेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु प्रेकादशवा मारुताः प्रसणे मातरः शुभं द्यावानो वेदाते कुजगमायाः अग्ने जिह्वा मानवाः सोराचक्षासो विसवेनो देव अवसागमन्निः भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणोयाम देव भद्रं पश्येमाच्छाविर्यजतराः स्थिरैरङ्ग्रै तुष्टावाग्गु स्वस्तानो बिर्वसे माहिदे वाहिकां जदायुः सातामेन्नो सारदो अन्ते देव जतरानश्चकराज्जरसं कानो नाम पुतरासो जतरा पितरो भवन्ति मानो मदयारिरिकतायुरग्रन्थोः आदित्यौरादितिरन्तरिक्षमादितिर्माता सा पिता सा पुत्रः विसवे देव आदितिः पञ्चजन आदितिर्जातमादितिर्जालितवम् द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगु शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः.
Well, there you have the Gurukul students, in fact, being quite excited about it, and also, as my colleague said, they are in fact waiting on the lines to welcome the Prime Minister as he passes through that location as well. Well, Arun Anand, one thing that we've been speaking about cultural continuity, but from the cultural aspect of Somnath Temple, which was one of the first aspects that we could look into, the reviving that temple to Ayodhya, how much of a road has this country traversed, and also the people associated between both, because both temples are seen as an emblem of cultural continuity?
I think it's a very interesting question. No, the Somnath, the key point of this journey is that the Somnath Mandir was revived in around 1949-50 by the government, largely basically by the government effort, and especially with Sardar Patel being at the helm of the affairs. Though Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had kind of reservations about it, but Sardar Patel went ahead and the government played an important role in that. But if you look at the Ram Janmbhoomi temple, it has largely been, the movement has been carried forward by the people of the country. The contribution has been made by largely the people of the country. The government have had a minimal role to basically play in this, because the Supreme Court had in its directive said that, okay, you form a trust has been formed, and that trust is basically a public body, and it collected money from around 18 crore families in the country. And then this temple has been built. So from a government effort to basically a societal effort, so that's a great journey. And I also want to bring in, a very interesting factual point in this, that in 1959, the RSS had passed, which actually played an important role in this movement. So they had passed their first resolution on Kashi Vishwanath temple in 1959 to liberate it or to basically build a Bhavya temple there, because there is also another mosque there. But the movement which RSS participated in was the Ram Janmbhoomi movement in 1983 onwards. The reason is basically because the society wanted to do this. So this is also a message, as RSS is also celebrating its centenary this year, that organization like RSS, basically they take up an issue which the society wants. So this temple is a manifestation of the awakening of the society. So I look at it like this.
All right. Karthik Chopra, we have in a country like in a modern day society, we have what we call as the administrative capital, Delhi. Then you have the financial capital as Mumbai. Should Ayodhya be declared as the spiritual capital of this country?
Why not? I think it's if not the spiritual capital, at least one of the many important spiritual capitals that we have in our country. We have a number of ancient shrines, and this is amongst possibly one of the oldest shrines in this country. Coming back to what our earlier panelist was saying, we have seen that after Somnath Temple, Ram Mandir could have come much earlier. But we of the Nirmohi Akhada, fighting the cases, fighting socially, we found that constantly every government that came was always trying to derail the process, was always trying to delay the process. We would have date after date after date after date. And finally in 2017, when we found that there was a new government in UP. The case started in the Supreme Court, and finally by 2019 we had a judgment. So I think that a lot of reasons for the delay or denying the people of Bharat their ancient shrine rests on a lot of the political parties through the decades of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. There was a time that people used to say this mandir will never be built, but our Akhada and many other organizations still continued the struggle. We continued the struggle when we had the worst kind of opposition and the worst kind of oppression against us, but we still continued our struggle, kept fighting the case till we got the final judgment in the Honorable Supreme Court. So I think going forward from here, when we look at Kashi and when we look at Mathura, those two cases are far, far simpler than the Shri Ram Janmbhoomi case. And I think that the other community should really consider how important those two shrines are for us of the Hindu community and look at a solution whereby peacefully we can take possession of those sites and build our new temples on those ancient sites once again to complete our entire journey of spiritual revival.
You were speaking about these two new sites as well, where you would want to in fact revive it, but how much of spiritual revival we are looking at? Because at the end of the day we are also looking at probably a lot of temples that are associated with different traditions also, which have not seen the light of day, in the sense they have been forgotten into our history books. At least some people like your community kept reviving the idea of this, but there are several other temples, probably in the northeast there are several temples like that, in the south there are temples like that need to be revived. How do you in fact see Nirmohi Akara's persistence and trying to keep this fight up? How do you think it could be an inspiration for others as well?
Look, as far as Mathura and Kashi is concerned, these are undisputably ancient Hindu shrines. And there are enough evidences above the surface of the ground and enough legal evidences also to prove that whatever situation exists today should never have taken place. So I think it calls for the consciousness or the awakening of the consciousness of the other community to understand how important these two shrines are for us and think of how we can revive these once again. I am sure that as these sites come up and as we see the Shri Ram Janmbhoomi Mandir, the Dhwaj going up today, it should send a message of peace and it should send a message of understanding, so that if there are any other such locations in the country, they too can be considered for being handed back to their rightful worshippers. You have to understand that in the Hindu faith, a temple is a place of worship, not just a place of prayer. Prayer is only one part of worship. Worship is a complete set of traditions which include prayer. And as per the constitution as well, for any particular community to be able to undertake worship at a place, if any particular site is essential for that worship, it is our right. This is also in the Justice Venkachalaya judgment of 1994 of the Honorable Supreme Court.
All right. Arun Anand, another aspect of this, we were talking about, the flag hoisting as such, but another aspect of it is that how do you think Ayodhya is going to become a place that you could see in the future? A place not only about spiritual aspect of pilgrims coming to it, but do you think that it is also an economic indicator that we are going to see that the place being completely transformed?
Yeah, absolutely. But I just want to bring in a couple of points here. See, one, that Ayodhya actually, if you go by the literal translation of Ayodhya, it means basically a place which cannot be defeated or which cannot be won in any war. Now, if you look at, though there are large number of pilgrims which are coming, but a substantial number of pilgrims, even after the demolition of Ram Temple in 1528 and when this Babri Mosque was built. So even after that, a large number of pilgrims always used to come there on Ram Navami. Many foreign travelers, the Italian, the Portuguese, they have chronicled it. Even the Britishers had chronicled it, that on Ram Navami and on various occasions, the Hindus used to get together and around the Ram Janmbhoomi, and despite a mosque being there, they used to pray and they used to, to worship. One. Second, the temple, as you know, my fellow panelist was saying, the temple is, I'll take it a little beyond. Temple is not only a place of worship for Hindus. Temples have been the powerhouses of manifestation of civilizational values, as well as, the social business, what you call, or the social, relationship, or it has been at the core of the social fabric, because gurukuls have been running from our temples in the past. It used to take care of the needy people. It also used to, even if you go into the history, especially in southern India, so the temples used to give loans to the local panchayats, in the early century, in the first 10 centuries of this millennia, the earlier millennia. So temples have been basically the powerhouse of, or at the core of, the Bharatiya civilization. So when I look at Ayodhya and I look at Ram Temple, I see the revival of this whole thing. And of course, the business has already been booming. And, the only thing is, I think we need to be careful about, with so many large number of pilgrims coming there, there'll be a huge challenge for the local administration as well as the state authorities and the other government authorities to ensure that the quality of infrastructure and the services which are being offered, they don't become, it doesn't become a place for duping people, as it happens in many other places. But I'm sure so far the experience of people who have been to Ayodhya over the last couple of years has been fantastic, and the Yogi government has been doing a tremendous job. And also, I also want to just bring in one more point. I think it's also a very interesting manifestation of a new paradigm in the Indian politics, and that is the emergence of an unapologetic Hindu Prime Minister.
Gentlemen, stay with us. In fact, an interesting point that has been brought in by this 10 a.m. right from now, with a visit to the Saptmandir complex, which houses the temples dedicated to revered sages, including Vishishta, Vishwamitra, Agastya and Valmiki, along with Devi Ahilya. This will be followed by a stop at the Sheshavtar Mandir. Around 11 a.m. he will visit the Mata Annapurna Mandir before offering Darshan and Puja at the Ram Lalla Garbha Grah and later at the Ram Lalla Garbha Grah. Now the highlight of the day unfolds at noon, when the Prime Minister will ceremonially hoist the saffron flag atop the shikhar of the Ram Janmbhoomi temple. The flag carries the radiant sun, the sacred symbol Om and the Kovidara tree, reflecting the virtues and valor of Lord Ram and the ideals of Ram Rajya. The ceremony coincides with the auspicious Vivah, Panchami and the Abhijit Muhurat, adding divine significance. Now, the event will start with the culmination of the temple's construction and celebrates India's cultural continuity and unity. I'm joined in by my colleague Sabyasachi. Sabya, as of now, there's a lot of anticipation. We are coming very close to that moment when that saffron flag will be hoisted at the shikhar and probably signaling one of the biggest cultural continuities of the civilizational aspect of the country, culturally as well. How is Ayodhya turning out to be? And at the same time, there must be so much of anticipation on the ground.
Well, that's right. There's a lot of anticipation as far as...
Well, it's a culmination of a movement that we are going to see today, especially with the hoisting of the flag at the Ram Temple, and the Prime Minister is also at Ayodhya. He's been given a huge welcome. He's been welcomed by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, and also people have been standing on the streets and waving at him as he approaches towards the temple areas. And we are expecting the flag hoisting to take place around 12 o'clock. The flag has been readied with the symbolism associated with the temple as well. And the Prime Minister was in fact on his way towards the temple structure. But before that, my colleagues are on the ground, Sabyasachi as well as Abhijit Thakur. Sabyasachi spoke to a few devotees who were excited to come to Ayodhya today. Let's listen into that.
Well, the entire Ram Nagari has been decorated like a bride, and all the devotees and the locals are super excited because of the Dhwajarohan ceremony, which is going to be conducted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, large amount of devotees are coming in. We'll speak to them, get to know what are their sentiments, what they feel about the Dhwajarohan ceremony. मैडम जी, आपसे पूछूंगा कि आज ध्वजारोहण का कार्य हो रहा है आज अयोध्या में, कैसा लग रहा है आपको? बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है हम लोग को। जब ये राम मंदिर ही बना तभी बहुत अच्छा लगा, अब आज तो फाइनल हो गया तो हम लोग को बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। मैडम, आप क्या कहेंगे?
रहे मुंडन कराए हैं और यहाँ का तीर्थ स्थान पर पूजा पाठ किए हैं, बहुत अच्छा लगा।
मैडम, आप बड़ी अच्छा भजन गा रही थी, हमें अगर 2 लाइन सुना दे आप।
कौन वाला गाई इतना जल्दी में तो भैया हम भूल गए।
राम की नगरी में है कुछ राम के लिए,
राम आएंगे तो अयोध्या तो जाएंगे। दशरथ के चारों ललन का श्री भगवान का भजन हमें करना है। रथ के चारों ललन का श्री भगवान का भजन हमें करना है। राज हम हो ना याद।
आप क्या कहेंगे? आप आए हैं आज अयोध्या में, कैसा लग रहा है आपको माहौल?
अच्छा लग रहा है।
तो आप पहली बार आई हैं या?
नहीं, बहुत बार आ चुके हैं, शायद मुंडन करवाने हम लोग।
अच्छा, तो कैसा सजावट देके कैसा लग रहा है?
अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा।
So there you go, that this are the sentiments that we are getting from ground, as lot of the devotees who are coming to Ayodhya to offer their prayers. They are extremely happy with the Dhwajarohan ceremony that is going to take place, and around 100 tons of
the Prime Minister there at Saptmandir, where he is in fact paying his tributes to the sages who are associated with the Ram Mandir as well. Well, there the Prime Minister there offering tributes to those saints who are associated with the Ramayana as well, with in fact paying his tributes and offering his prayers also at the Saptmandir. Arun Anand, if you're still with us, can you just explain the importance of the Saptmandir as such, which houses the people who are also closely associated with various aspects of Lord Ram's life, at the same time also who played a pivotal role in the Ramayana as such?
See, in Hindu tradition or in Bharatiya tradition, if you'll go to any temple, you will not only find one deity, one particular deity, there is a whole complex all around that temple. So even like if you go to Jagannath Puri, the first deity you meet at the Puri temple is Lord Shri Hanuman. So, and then when you go inside, so in all the temples, you will find different deities and different, so it's a whole complex basically. As I earlier mentioned, that it is not only merely a place of worship, or it is not only basically about one particular deity. It's all about, manifestation of the civilizational values. Also, an important thing is when you have like the Saptmandir we are discussing about, so it brings together, all the sects of Hinduism together. So that is also what you call in modern day, lexicon. So it's a symbol of, or it's a manifestation of Samajik Samarastha, or it's a medium of bringing Samajik Samarastha, what you call, or the, social harmony or the social unity. So it has an importance beyond, these individual deities. It's largely, I always look at, temples more like as a, not as a symbol, but as a manifestation of the cultural and civilizational values which are at the core of Hinduism. So this Saptmandir is a living example of that, and I think that's how I look at it.
Karthik Chopra, one question that, or rather one statement that can come in from Arun Anand has been that we have a Prime Minister who's unapologetically Hindu, And when you listen to that statement, do you think that the rest of the prime ministers had to, in fact, somewhere keep that secular image for which they thought it was not to be that Hindu? Was that a criterion that happened with regards to how the politics of this country played out?
We always saw past leaders compromise on our Hindu faith, Hindu tradition, and those aspects of faith and tradition are inseparable from us. We do not find this in our current Prime Minister. We are very happy and grateful that not only in our current Prime Minister, but even in our current Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, we see this, that the ancient Hindu sites that belong to us must come back to us. And this is something that we have always fought for. As I said, through the decades of the late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, we Nirmohis faced all kinds of oppression. Do you know that we were in possession of the outer courtyard of the Shri Ram Janmbhoomi up till 1982? But we were dispossessed in 1982 from there. And the rest of the site was also put into dispute when it was only the inner sanctum sanctorum that had been put into dispute in 1949. No political party ever spoke about this, ever talked about this. That is why we single-handedly at that time continued our tradition, our fight. And when in the 80s, the Ram Janmbhoomi movement was pushed by the RSS, by the BJP, by other organizations, we were very happy to see that there was now a mass movement for a fight that we had been fighting along with other Bairagi akhadas for the last 400 plus years. So I really do think that it is high time that all of society awakens. This flag raising ceremony, Dhwajarohan ceremony, should be an awakening for Hindu Samaj and for Bharatiya Samaj as such, to understand that our ancient values are the most important. Our Gurukul system was one where Lord Krishna met Sudama, two people of diverse finance. They came for education. It was on one common platform. What is greater than that? Ramji दीनानाथ हैं, दीन बंधु हैं, दीन दयाल हैं. मंदिर जो पहले थे वो समाज के लिए खूब कार्य करते थे. अब हम भी चाहते हैं कि यह श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर भी एक मिसाल बने बाकी सारे मंदिरों के लिए कि समाज के लिए काम कैसे करना है.
All right. Arun Anand, again, another version of that question that I would like to ask is that how important has the Ram Janmbhoomi movement been with regard to the RSS? How did it propel it from being in the margins to the center stage when it came to this movement? And at the same time, Sri Advani is someone whom we cannot forget when we talk about the Ram Janmbhoomi movement.
See, I'll tell you a very interesting thing that, actually, as I mentioned earlier, that the RSS generally does not participate in any movement as an organization, except in the post-independence era. Emergency was the only time. So when this Ram Janmbhoomi movement happened, and there is a background to it, but I won't go into it. But when this Ram Janmbhoomi movement happened, so I can tell you an anecdotal thing that one of the senior RSS functionaries. So when they discussed it with the then RSS chief, the third RSS chief, Balasaheb Devras. So Balasaheb Devras had such a foresight and vision. He said that it will take at least 30 years to take this movement for successful culmination. And if RSS takes anything in hand, so then we will have we'll keep on doing it till we reach the logical conclusion or till we have the final victory over this thing. But a lot of organizational energy and resources will go into this. So the top brass has to decide. So then a decision was taken, and then Ashok Singhal, who played another important role in this thing. Ashok Singhal was the Prant Pracharak or the full-time worker looking after Delhi affairs, and he was drafted to Vishwa Hindu Parishad in early 1980s. And then this is how, and a very interesting thing that actually the RSS joined this movement after post 1983, and the BJP joined this movement officially in 1989 in the Palampur, Himachal Pradesh. They were having a session where they passed the Ram Janmbhoomi resolution, and that is how BJP officially took it over. And then of course L.K. Advani took a Rath Yatra, and the rest is kind of history. But for RSS, it was a significant movement. As I said, it was not about demolishing or replacing a mosque by a temple. For RSS, it has been a fight between the two set of civilizational values. The Babri Mosque represented a set of civilizational values, which meant that if you cannot worship, if you will not worship according to me, then you don't have a right to coexist. Whereas the Ram temple.
Arunanand, just stay with us. We have the Prime Minister. He's in fact at the Ayodhya complex, and as I said earlier, he was in fact at the Garbhas of the deities that are there within the complex, and he's in fact offering his prayers as well, just ahead of the flag hoisting. Sorry, Arunanand, I had to just disturb your trail of thoughts because of the visuals that was in fact coming in. Please go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that, so, you know, the RSS took up this movement, and for them it's a civilizational war which we were having. It's not between Hindu and Muslim. It has got nothing to do with religion or way of worship. Lord Ram has, there are millions of temples of Lord Ram, all around the world. So this particular place was important because it represented, a clash between two sets of civilizational values. So Bhagwan Ram represents, or Shri Ram represents those civilizational values where a son goes to, for 14 years, goes to a, jungle just to keep the promise of, his father. And where, the brothers, instead of, like, if you look at the Islamic kind of rulers, so there the fathers and the sons and the daughters, they were killing each other. And here, so it's a pure sacrifice, devotion, piety, and the victory of evil over good. So this is a set of, it has got nothing to do with way of worship or religion or Hindus or Muslims. So Bharat will be represented by which set of values? That was the question, and that is why this movement was taken over by RSS.
All right, and how do you in fact see Advaniji's role in it? In fact, a person who's been quite key in this movement.
See, Advaniji played, of course, a very significant role in this thing. And he kind of created a lot of awareness about it. And of course, the BJP under his and Vajpayee's leadership, passed this resolution in 1989. But there were a lot of other people also. I'll for your viewers' sake, they can go and then search it on the Google also. The key architect of the Ram Janmbhoomi movement behind the scene was a person named Moropant Pingle. Moropant Pingle was a RSS full-timer. He was actually the key architect, in the sense that all the Shila Pujan, the Rath Yatra, the Ram, Jyoti. So everything was basically, behind the scene planned by him. And then there were, a number of other people also, and everybody, played a role. But Advani, of course, he, in the political space, he was the first one to take up this issue very vociferously. But I also want to bring in a point. Many people consider, that Vajpayee, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he was a soft, he believed in soft Hindutva, and he was a, soft liner, and Bani was a hard liner. The fact of the matter is that post December 6, 1992, when the Babri Masjid was demolished, if you look at the speech which Vajpayee made in the parliament, you would find that he was actually one of the strongest advocates of Ram Temple.
All right. Karthik Chopra, the Nirmohi Akara, of course, you've spoken about how it should be an inspiration, how the aspect should be in fact looked in. Culturally, when we look at Ayodhya as a city, we've spoken about its cultural continuity. We have spoken about how the Ram Temple would become now the center of that city as well. But when we are looking at its progress, what more would you like to see for Ayodhya?
Let's go back a little into history. If we talk about civilizational and religious continuity, Shri Ram Janmbhoomi
New Tata Tiago. New tech, new style, new colors. It's a chill car.
societal reform that then ensures that never ever again in the future are we ever divided in any manner to allow anybody to destroy our cultural ethos ever again.
Karthik, interesting you've spoken about that aspect of it. Do you see the flag hoisting as a finality, a culmination, or do you see it as a beginning?
I see it as a beginning. I see this flag hoisting as a new beginning, a culmination of the ancient and a signaling of the new beginning.
And how do you in fact see Prime Minister Modi when he raises that particular flag and in fact bringing it to, as you said, the culmination of the movement and the beginning of something? How do you see his role?
We are very, very proud and honored to see our Prime Minister carry out this holy task. He is the leader of our great Rashtra, and we are very, very delighted that he is doing this. There is a lot of politics over the fact as to whether a political leader should ever be involved in religious activities. Our Honorable Prime Minister is, as my friend on the show said, an unapologetic Hindu, and so are we all. Why should we ever apologize for our faith, our philosophy, our traditions? So we are very, very happy and honored and proud to see him do this.
Right. Arun Anand, how do you in fact see this? Is it another high point when it comes to the movement? Because we have seen several high points in this movement, but is this the high point that everybody has been waiting for?
I think, it's there are two things. See, in Bharatiya Adhyatmic tradition, they always say, that journey is the destination. So this is a journey which we are making, and this is an auspicious journey. So, and this journey will continue, as Karthik ji was also saying, that this journey needs to continue, and this journey will continue, and this journey has been eternally continuing. And like Nirmohi Akhada took it up, to take forward this journey for the last, almost 500 years. So this journey will continue. I look at it. The second thing is, you'd asked about, you were also discussing about, the Prime Minister, a lot of politics about, this thing. This event today marks a very significant paradigm shift in Indian politics because it brings dharma, not religion, as the overall supreme guiding framework for our politics. Acharya Dharmendra is no more. He was a towering leader of VHP. He used to say a very interesting quote. I'll say it in Hindi because you can only get the best essence in Hindi. He used to say कि अगर राजनीति की गाय को धर्म के खूंटे से नहीं बांधोगे तो वो लोकतंत्र की सारी घास चर जाएगी. So I think the fall and decay which we have seen over the last, till 2014 in our country post-independence, largely because there was no dharma in politics. But now the way Prime Minister, is going into this ceremony, and the way BJP government has been, revamping all our adhyatmic places. So that is re-establishing dharma at the right place to be a guide for our politics. A
guide to our politics as such. And Karthik Chopra, again, I come to this thing, because I'm expecting more for Ayodhya as a town to emerge more from the shadows of just the Ram Janmbhoomi temple. It is not a city that should be in the shadows. That's why I asked about whether it should be declared as the spiritual capital of the country. What next for Ayodhya? What does the Nirmohya Kara have a vision beyond the Ram Janmbhoomi temple as of now for the city?
You see, Ayodhya not only has the holy Janamsthan of Bhagwan Shri Ram, there are many, many other sacred sites in the city. Today also is the Martyrdom Day, 350th Martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj. There is an ancient Gurdwara called the Brahmkund Gurdwara at Ayodhya, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji spent time there. In fact, it was part of his chronicles that we submitted in the Supreme Court and the High Court to show that the Ram Mandir existed at that time, because he had visited it. Thereafter, Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj had also visited and stayed at this site. So had Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Apart from this, there are other ancient Hindu shrines and temples. We really want all of Ayodhya, not just the city, but the district, to be declared as a World Heritage Site, because this is an ancient site of spirituality and heritage. There is a lot of development that has been done by the UP government, and it is continuing. And a lot of the old ancient traditions have been suppressed over the years, like our little gurukuls and other things, need to now be expanded. Educational institutions teaching the ancient Hindu philosophies need to be promoted. And this is what we see, a glorious golden future for Ayodhya. And as long as this government is in UP, we will see more and more of this happen.
Thank you, gentlemen, for in fact giving us an engaging conversation, as well as we bring in especially with the hoisting of the flag at the Ram temple, and the Prime Minister is also at Ayodhya. He's been given a huge welcome. He's been welcomed by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, and also people have been standing on the streets and waving at him as he approaches towards the temple areas. And we are expecting the flag hoisting to take place around 12 o'clock. The flag has been readied with the symbolism associated with the temple as well. And the Prime Minister was in fact on his way towards the temple structure. But before that, my colleagues are on the ground, Sabyasachi as well as Abhijit Thakur. Sabyasachi spoke to a few devotees who were excited to come to Ayodhya today. Let's listen into that.
Well, the entire Ram Nagari has been decorated like a bride, and all the devotees and the locals are super excited because of the Dhwajarohan ceremony, which is going to be conducted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, large amount of devotees are coming in. We'll speak to them, get to know what are their sentiments, what they feel about the Dhwajarohan ceremony. मैडम जी, आपसे पूछूंगा कि आज ध्वजारोहण का कार्य हो रहा है आज अयोध्या में, कैसा लग रहा है आपको?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है हम लोग को। जब ये राम मंदिर ही बना तभी बहुत अच्छा लगा, अब आज तो फाइनल हो गया तो हम लोग को बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। मैडम, आप क्या कहें?
आ रहे मुंडन कराए हैं और यहाँ का तीर्थ स्थान पर पूजा पाठ किए हैं, बहुत अच्छा लगा।
मैडम, आप बड़ी अच्छा भजन गा रही थी, हमें अगर 2 लाइन सुना दे आप।
कौन वाला गाई? इतना जल्दी में तो भैया हम भूल गए।
राम की नगरी में है, कुछ राम के लिए।
राम आएंगे तो अयोध्या तो जाएंगे। दशरथ के चारों ललन का श्री भगवान का भजन हमें करना है। रथ के चारों ललन का श्री भगवान का भजन हमें करना है। राज हम हो ना याद।
आप क्या कहेंगे? आप आए हैं आज अयोध्या में, कैसा लग रहा है आपको माहौल?
अच्छा लग रहा है।
तो आप पहली बार आई हैं या?
नहीं, बहुत बार आ चुके हैं, शायद मुंडन करवाने हम लोग।
अच्छा, तो कैसा सजावट देके कैसा लग रहा है?
अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा।
So there you go, that this are the sentiments that we are getting from ground, as lot of the devotees who are coming to Ayodhya to offer their prayers. They are extremely happy with the Dhwajarohan ceremony that is going to take place, and around 100 tons of
the Prime Minister there at Saptmandir, where he is in fact paying his tributes to the sages who are associated with the Ram Mandir as well. Well, there the Prime Minister there offering tributes to those saints who are associated with the Ramayana as well, with in fact paying his tributes and offering his prayers also at the Saptmandir. Arun Anand, if you're still with us, can you just explain the importance of the Saptmandir as such, which houses the people who are also closely associated with various aspects of Lord Ram's life, at the same time also who played a pivotal role in the Ramayana as such?
See, in Hindu tradition or in Bharatiya tradition, if you will go to any temple, you will not only find one deity, one particular deity, there is a whole complex all around that temple. So even like if you go to Jagannath Puri, the first deity you meet at the Puri temple is Lord Shri Hanuman. So, and then when you go inside, so in all the temples, you will find different deities and different, so it's a whole complex basically. As I earlier mentioned, that it is not only merely a place of worship, or it is not only basically about one particular deity. It's all about, manifestation of the civilizational values. Also, an important thing is when you have like the Saptmandir we are discussing about, so it brings together, all the sects of Hinduism together. So that is also what you call in modern day, lexicon. So it's a symbol of, or it's a manifestation of Samajik Samarastha, or it's a medium of bringing Samajik Samarastha, what you call, or the, social harmony or the social unity. So it has an importance beyond, these individual deities. It's largely, I always look at temples more like as a, not as a symbol, but as a manifestation of the cultural and civilizational values which are at the core of Hinduism. So this Saptmandir is a living example of that, and I think that's how I look at it.
Karthik Chopra, one question that, or rather one statement that's come in from Arun Anand has been that we have a Prime Minister who's unapologetically Hindu. And when you listen to that statement, do you think that the rest of the Prime Ministers had to, in fact, somewhere keep that secular image for which they thought it was not to be that Hindu? Was that a criterion that happened with regards to how the politics of this country played out?
We always saw past leaders compromise on our Hindu faith, Hindu tradition, and those aspects of faith and tradition are inseparable from us. We do not find this in our current Prime Minister. We are very happy and grateful that not only in our current Prime Minister, but even in our current Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, we see this, that the ancient Hindu sites that belong to us must come back to us. And this is something that we have always fought for. As I said, through the decades of the late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, we Nirmohis faced all kinds of oppression. Do you know that we were in possession of the outer courtyard of the Shri Ram Janmbhoomi up till 1982? But we were dispossessed in 1982 from there, and the rest of the site was also put into dispute when it was only the inner sanctum sanctorum that had been put into dispute in 1949. No political party ever spoke about this, ever talked about this. That is why we single-handedly at that time continued our tradition, our fight. And when in the 80s, the Ram Janmbhoomi movement was pushed by the RSS, by the BJP, by other organizations, we were very happy to see that there was now a mass movement for a fight that we had been fighting along with other Bairagi akhadas for the last 400 plus years. So I really do think that it is high time that all of society awakens. This flag raising ceremony, Dhwajarohan ceremony, should be an awakening for Hindu Samaj and for Bharatiya Samaj.
And this is the rolling coverage on Dhwajarohan, the grand ceremony there in Ayodhya. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Ayodhya at the Shri Ram Janmbhoomi Mandir for a landmark moment, the Dhwajarohan ceremony, a historic event in the nation's cultural and spiritual calendar. The Prime Minister began the day at around 10 a.m. today. We also showed you the visuals coming in straight from Ayodhya of those grand celebration preparations there on ground as well. He held a roadshow en route to the temple complex, greeting and waving at the crowds who lined the streets to welcome him. Waiting for so long just to catch a glimpse of their Prime Minister. His first stop was at Saptmandir complex, which houses temples dedicated to revered sages, including Vashishtha, Vishwamitra, Agastya and Valmiki, along with Devi Ahilya, Nishadraj Guha and Mata Shabri. Prime Minister also offered tributes to the saints. His next stop is the Sheshavtar Mandir. He will then visit the Mata Annapurna Mandir before offering Darshan and Puja at the Ram Lalla Garbha Grah and later at the Ram Lalla Garbha Grah as well. The highlight of the day will unfold at noon today when the Prime Minister will ceremonially hoist the saffron flag atop the shikhar of the Ram Janmbhoomi temple. The flag carries the radiant sun, the sacred symbol Om, and the Kovidara tree, reflecting the virtues and valor of Lord Ram and the ideals of Ram Rajya. The ceremony coincides with the auspicious Vivah Panchami and the Abhijit Muhurat, adding divine significance to the day. The event will mark the culmination of the temple's construction and celebrates India's cultural continuity and unity as well. Those are the visuals coming in straight from ground. As you can see, the city is all decked up. The temple is all decked up as well. Massive dhwaja, or the flag, is all set to be hoisted by the Prime Minister today at around noon. Three crucial symbols carved on it: Kovidara tree, Om and a sun. Each one of them holding a significance in the Hindu scriptures, in Hinduism. Each symbol telling a different story about Ram Rajya. A significant day. All right, let me introduce my guest joining us here on the broadcast, and also my colleague Rajesh Pandey sitting right next to me here in the studio. Author and political analyst Shantanu Gupta is here with us, and also our author of Amazing Ayodhya, Neena Rai, is also joining us here on the broadcast. Namaskar, thank you so much for speaking to us. Neena ji, let me first come to you. Let me ask you the significance of the day, 25th November. Why this day is so crucial and has been chosen for Dhwajarohan ceremony?
Well, today is Vivah Panchami, and on Vivah Panchami in Mrigshira is when Shri Ramji and Mata Sita married. And after their marriage, they came to Ayodhya to live forever in Ayodhya. And that is why today's significance is very important, because it is a highly auspicious day, and highly auspicious not only for things like Dhwajarohan and to do things related to Ayodhya ji, but also a lot of people get married today. So this day is extremely auspicious. And of course, Abhijit, Muhurat, it can't get more auspicious. So kudos to those who have decided on this time and date.
If I could ask you, how was the welcome in Ayodhya when Sita ji was here, and Sita ji and Ramchandra ji also got married on this auspicious day?
So, I was reading that in Ayodhya, they have decked, you can see the flowers, how they have decked it. So they have decked it with so many flowers, and hundreds and thousands of kilos of flowers have been brought there for a welcome. And when Sita ji and Mata Sita and Shri Ram ji arrived in Ayodhya, they had a welcome by flowers as well. So there are very beautiful shlokas in the Valmiki Ramayana, and they say that when Darshan ji gets Ram and the other brothers and Sita ji and the other sisters in, they showered flowers on them, heaps and heaps of flowers, and the description in Valmiki Ramayana is very beautiful. Valmiki ji says that just like an elephant showers water and dust on himself and others, that is how everybody was showering flowers on the brides and the grooms, and heaps of flowers, and they were strewn over the roads, they were everywhere. So the whole place was full of flowers, and just as we can see, we don't see as many flowers, but there were heaps and heaps of flowers in Ayodhya.
Beautiful. Shantanu, I have something very striking to ask you, because now I believe every element of Ram Janmbhoomi, now even the flag has a story to tell.
You're right. So I think flag is almost the completion. जैसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं कि झंडा गाड़ दिया. So it's like the completion of everything. And I think it's also a vindication of the fact that BJP in 1989, if I speak politically, adopted the topic of Ram Mandir in their political agenda. Earlier it was a VHP's agenda before that. And since then they were teased कि मंदिर वहीं बनाएंगे but तारीख नहीं बताएंगे. In 2024 the Mandir was built, Prime Minister came, he put his weight behind, he inaugurated, and the main Ram Lalla Murti was consecrated. Today is the final completion of the temple. As you rightly said, all the 7 temples, all the associated temples, Shiva's temple, Ganesha's temple, Bhagwan Hanuman's temple, Suryadev's temple, Devi Bhagwati, Devi Annapurna, all the mandapams of Rishi Valmiki, who wrote Valmiki Ramayana, Vishwamitra, who was one of the gurus of Rama, Rishi Agastya, who gave him the Brahmastra, Nishad Raj, Shabriji, Devi Ahilya. Even there is a temple for Acharya Tulsidas, who adopted 500 years back Valmiki Ramayana into Ramacharitmanas. So now it's complete in its full grandeur, right? In north of India, we never seen a big, huge temple. And we have seen, I think this is the time to remember these 2 books by Sitaram Goyalji, Hindu temples, what happened to them. And finally, we have a Bhavya Ram temple. I think this is a civilizational victory. I think this generation is lucky, so fortunate that we are able to see it with our eyes. 5 years back, 10 years back, when I used to go to Ayodhya and used to see Ram Lalla in that shack, in the tent, used to pinch me that in the city of Ayodhya, in the country of Shri Ram, we say Ram Ram, we say Jai Shri Ram. We have Ram in our names, we have Janki in our names, but we don't have a temple in the city of Ram. I think ek Rashtriya Kalank tha hamare, but it was a national shame, and finally today the temple is complete, is all its glory, and it's a fortunate moment. And over that, this huge flag is coming up, which is it seems 11 by 22 feet. It seems it's weighing some 10 to 15 kgs, and Prime Minister who has lived a long career in governance. So there's a Ram Rajya element also. And it's also beautiful that how Yogi Adityanath has prepared the city of Ayodhya in last 8 years. Now Ayodhya has a municipal corporation. If you see the roads that we were just seeing on your channel with Prime Minister coming, those roads were hardly 10 or 12 feet roads. Now it's a 2-lane roads from both the sides. Ayodhya is a beautiful city now. Earlier it was a god-forsaken city. You used to go to Ayodhya, that there was hardly any aarti, Saryu was not in its grandeur. So I think the Treta Yug's Ayodhya is coming back in Kali Yuga, and that's the beauty of these living times, I think.
Shantanu and Nina, I'll request you to please stay on with me quickly. I'm taking a word from my colleague Brijesh as well. Brijesh, I think the date has been selected very strategically. You see 25 at the beginning, 25 at the end, and 11 the auspicious number in the between, right? So I think that number has been selected as per our Hindu scriptures as well, and also it holds a lot of symbolism and significance into it.
Well, absolutely, and I think Nina has already explained the importance of the day. That's Vivah Panchami. It is also the day which marks the culmination of the construction of Ram Temple, the Abhijit Muhurat, which is there from 11:28 till 1 o'clock, which is considered to be the most auspicious time in which to do any kind of pious work. So yes, the day has been strategically chosen, and today marks with Dhwajarohan will mark the end of construction as far as the temple is. over 25 days by a specialist parachute manufacturing company in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. And what is interesting is that that the flag has been designed using premium silk threads and parachute grade fabrics to ensure durability against sun, rain and strong winds, and its specifications were finalized with consultations from even senior army officers. And what we have been given to understand also, Sakshi, is that this flag is something which can withstand winds up to 60 km/h, rain and sunlight. And it is something which is supported by a nylon rope and an automatic hoisting system on a 42-foot rotating pole. So, I mean, it's going to be quite a sight when this Dhwajarohan is going to take place. Sakshi?
Absolutely. In fact, we are looking at Mohan Bhagwat and Prime Minister Modi, attending an aarti over there in Ayodhya at the moment. These are the live visuals coming in straight on the screens of our viewers. Brijesh, when we speak about the significance, when you spoke about the significance of the flag as well and the kind of material that it has been, built up with, I think let's also speak about the temple a little bit here, because this is the question that I asked Shantanu, that you see a lot of elemental, significance to it. You have so many different kind of elements which have been used in Ram Lalla's statue as well. Now we are speaking about Dhwaja today. Let's also speak about how the temple itself is representing the amalgamation of entire India into it.
Well, I would say that, as Shantanu was pointing out, this Ayodhya, the construction of Ram Lalla temple in Ayodhya was something, which was on the political agenda of the BJP from 1989. But before that, it was something which was at the top of agenda as far as Vishwa Hindu Parishad is concerned. And, Ashok Singhal was the one who was spearheading the entire movement. And later on, it became political. Lal Krishna Advani took out a Rath Yatra. We saw it led to demolition of Babri Masjid. And we all aware of the journey. But yes, after the court's decision which came in favor of the temple, the construction has been going on, and I mean it is there in its entire splendor, in a glorious splendor which is there for everyone to see. And we saw the program which happened in the start of in the month of January in 2024 when Prana Pratishtha of the temple was done. Yes. And today, from that day till today, it has come to the Dhwajarohan, and today marks the culmination, meaning the end of construction of the temple. Now the temple is complete, and as what we've been given to understand is that the Saffron flag, which measures 22 feet by 11 feet, is something which is going to, as featuring three sacred symbols, which are hand embroidered in the golden thread. The sun representing, Surya Vansh, Raja Ram, Surya Vansh lineage and eternal energy, the sacred Om, symbolizing spiritual vibration, and also the motifs of Kovidar tree, which denotes purity, prosperity, and Ram Rajya. So I think the motifs are there and there for everyone to see.
Absolutely. Brijesh, Neena and Shantanu, I'll request you to please stay on with me on the broadcast. Let's listen in to the live visuals coming in straight from the ground from Ram Lalla's temple.
Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha. Hasto Prakhalya Rishikesaya Namaha. Om Apavitro va sarvavasthangato piva yasmaret pundarikaksham vayavyantara suchi pundarikaksha punatu pundarikaksha punatu pundarikaksha punatu swasti tilakam. Om swastina indro vrdhasharavaha swastina pukha vishava vedaha स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम ज्योतिर्ज्योतिरग्निः स्वाहा सूर्योर्ज्योतिर्ज्योतिः सूर्यः स्वाहा अग्निर्वर्चो ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा सूर्यो वर्चो।
All right, so the puja archana is happening at the moment. Neena ji, let me quickly come to you. I want to ask you, how do you view and compare the pre-Ram temple Ayodhya and the post-Ram temple Ayodhya?
I think there is no comparison at all. I mean, Ram Lalla was in a tent earlier. Now he has a full-fledged, beautiful temple for him, built on the Nagar style of design. So there is no comparison. And just take a look at the number of people who are thronging there. Whether it is New Year's, whether it is any holiday, any given occasion, people want to go and see the temple, the Murti. And after Dhwajarohan, the temple will even get more visitors because now the temple is totally complete. So those who have come before will again want to come now to see all the levels of the temple. So we've had 2 Pran Pratishthas. One was for the Vigraha of Ram Lalla, and then there was other Pran Pratishtha was for the Murtis on top. And also I want to add that the tree that you're talking about, that is on the flag, the Kodivara tree, that tree has a symbolism, not only in terms of symbolism to Hinduism, but in the ancient times, the flag of the kingdom, the flag of Ramji, of Ayodhya, or let's say the coastal kingdom, had the Kodivara tree, the tree on it. Some say it's pomegranate, some say it's other, but the Kodivara tree was also in the ancient past on the Dhwaj. So it is absolutely befitting that this flag be hoisted on top. And one of the most important things of Dhwajarohan is that from distance, from a very large distance, this is how you see who is coming. So even in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is mentioned then that when Bharat ji comes and he wants to go to the jungle, the Nishads come. And the Nishads are very wary of Bharat coming. So they think he's going to go to the jungle, and because he wants to, there's always that fight between, brothers for to be king. And we know the history of Kaikeyi, she wanted Bharat to be the king. So the Nishads are very afraid that he might go in there with his army and kill Ram and Lakshman, who are there by themselves without any army. So the Nishad says that we can see Bharat coming with the Kodivara tree on the flag. So we know that he's from, that is Bharat. So in ancient times, as well as even now, this is how a temple was recognized as to whom it belonged to. So I think it's absolutely glorious, and putting this tree with the same symbols from the ancient past is just, as they say, sone pe suhaga.
Absolutely. And a quick trivia about this tree is that it is hybrid in nature, Shantanu. So it does not only speak about our spiritual excellence, because this tree has existed thousands of years ago. So it also speaks about how ahead of time we were actually, scientifically speaking too.
And that also shown in the temple architecture. This is one of the newest temple. When you go to south, there are amazing architectural marvels of geometry, of trigonometry, of astrology, elements of astronomy, are all woven inside the temples. Unfortunately, we don't have any large ancient temple in north of India. All were destroyed by the Islamic rulers. In fact, this is the amazing time to remember, as I always keep telling, these 2 books by Sitaram Goelji, Hindu temples, what happened to them. And finally, we have a large temple coming up with all the temples in its details, with amazing geometry. I was hearing last time, 1.5 years back, the geometrical elements of this very temple. This is prepared for keeping in mind all the seismic movements, all the water movements for the next 1,000 years. So it has all the engineering from multiple IITs, multiple soil scientists are involved while making this temple. So from spirituality to science, all are part of this temple. And also, this is giving a huge economy back to Ayodhya. with the Kripa of Shri Ram, that's also happening. The Kripa of Shri Lakshmi is also happening. Amazing number of people are coming back. People more than Taj Mahal are visiting Ayodhya. Taj Mahal normally get a visitorships of 10 to 12 crores. And last year, 2024, almost 13.5 crore people visited Ayodhya, and the number have already touched 20 crores within half a year. In 2025, and that's giving huge employment in not only in Ayodhya, in the whole eastern region of Uttar Pradesh.
Absolutely. And Brijesh, again, coming to the significance of the date, there is another quick trivia related to 25th November, is that today we actually mark the martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And before taking up on that fight for the motherland, it was this very temple where he meditated for 48 hours. So I think that BJP and NDA government altogether has been doing their homework properly, and they've been selected proper dates to do all of these events and ceremonies.
Well, I think, these are epoch moments, and these are the epoch moments, and, a lot of thought and analysis goes in selecting a date, because, there's science and then there's faith, and there's a beautiful amalgamation of both. Absolutely. And, of what I'm no Pandit to, or as you write, as both our guests are, but I would say that, what we've been given to understand that, there's a Panchami of the Shukla Paksh in the month of Maragrisha, coinciding with Abhijit Muhurat and Sita's Vivah Panchami, a day symbolizing divine union. So, I mean, anything and everything that can go right, or that can be auspicious, pious and all, marks the day when Dhwajarohan is taking place. I think, Shantanu, as Shantanu was talking about, that, after Ram, the Lakshmi is also flowing in. And I completely agree with this point of view that, if you look at the fact that the kind of economic boom this temple is going to bring to the state of Uttar Pradesh, to the country itself, because tourism is the world's second largest job creator. And if you look at the fact that, not only those people who visited for a darshan of Ram Lalla, but they also went to Varanasi for Kashi Vishwanath temple darshan, and then went on to various, temple hopping, which resulted in, a lot of economic boom for the government. The town of Ayodhya, because we have been there, we have covered Ayodhya for a very long time, almost a decade or more. I mean, it was a non-descriptive town, with very small bylanes, and if there are two vehicles in front, it'd be very difficult for both of them to pass each other without causing some sort of commotion around it. And now, if you look at it, that there is an entire facelift, as they say, puri kaya kalp ho gayi hai of the entire city. And I think, going by the kind of the historicity the place has in the mind of as far as the Hindus are concerned, and the special place it has in the heart of Hindus, this what we're witnessing is manifestation of perhaps what many have been hoping for centuries altogether. And today, I think that is the culmination of hope and aspirations of lakhs and lakhs of people, which we are witnessing, or which we are going to witness, about to witness, as far as with the Dhwajarohan is concerned.
Absolutely. And now we have our reporter Sabyasachi also joining us here on the broadcast. So let me quickly take a word from him as well, try to sense what exactly is happening there on the ground. Sabyasachi, if you can hear me, tell us what's happening there on the ground, the kind of preparation, the kind of turnout over there of the devotees and pilgrims.
Well, the entire Ram Nagari has been decorated like a bride, and a large amount of devotees are currently coming here. We'll speak to some of them, get to know what is the pulse. Sir, आपसे पूछूंगा, कहाँ से आए हैं आप?
हम दिल्ली से आए हैं।
दिल्ली से। सर, आज जो है ध्वजारोहण कार्य है, प्रधानमंत्री कर रहे हैं, साथ ही जो है विवाह पंचमी है। अयोध्या में किस तरीके का माहौल देख रहे हैं आप?
माहौल बहुत खुशी का माहौल चल रहा है, और एक उत्सव की तरह चल रहा है, और अभी अंदर जो व्यवस्था भी हो रही है बहुत अच्छी हुई है, सुंदर।
सर, अयोध्या नगरी जो है पूरी सजाई गई है, 100 टन फूल से सजाई गई है अयोध्या नगरी। किस तरीके से देख रहे हैं?
बहुत अच्छा लगा सर, ऐसा ही होना चाहिए। जब भी यहाँ पे आए कोई भी देशवासी बाहर अपने देश में देखने के लिए ऐसे सजने चाहिए होता।
आप क्या कहेंगे?
बहुत अच्छा, सब कुछ अच्छा है, शांति है, सिक्योरिटी बहुत है, और दर्शन भी बहुत अच्छे हुए हमें।
दो बार हमने दर्शन करे थे, एकदम भीड़ कम, आराम से दर्शन हुए।
आप पहली बार आए हैं?
फर्स्ट टाइम आए हैं। हाँ।
कैसा लगा आपको डेकोरेशन वगैरह व्यवस्था?
बहुत अच्छी, शांत वातावरण, बहुत अच्छा सब कुछ। और पहले कहते थे कुछ भी नहीं था, अब तो 1 साल में बहुत कुछ है, हर चीज का बंदोबस्त, रहने का, खाने, हर चीज का बहुत अच्छी सुविधा, हर चीज की सुविधा है।
There you go, that the devotees who are coming here, in fact, for the first time, they are quite happy, quite excited. In fact, they are speaking about the kind of arrangement, the kind of decoration that has been made. Around 100 tons of flower has been used to decorate the entire city of Ayodhya. It's a festival vibe because today is the Vivah Panchami, which marks the marriage anniversary of Lord Ram and Sita, and there is a huge amount of footfall of devotees from across the country who are coming to Ayodhya. And with the Dhwajarohan ceremony, it marks the completion of the construction of the temple of Ram Janmbhoomi. We'll speak to more of the devotees. Sir, आपसे भी पूछूंगा कि अयोध्या नगरी में आप हैं, आज ध्वजारोहण कार्य है, किस तरीके से देख रहे हैं, क्या माहौल देख रहे हैं अयोध्या में?
देखिए, हमारे लिए तो ये दिवाली से भी बड़ा उत्सव है। वैसे हम हर वर्ष यहाँ आते हैं विवाह पंचमी पे, और तमाम यहाँ अखाड़े हैं जिनमें विवाह आयोजन होता है, लेकिन आज का जो आयोजन है वो बड़ा अद्भुत है। मन प्रसन्न है। हो सकता है शब्द उतना बयान करने के लिए ना मिल पाए, लेकिन दिल से बस दुआ है कि हमारी उम्र भी मोदी जी को लग जाए, जिन्होंने ये दिन हमको दिखाया है।
सर, ये बताइए कि 500 साल का इंतजार था।
All right, I think we lost connection with Sabyasachi over there. He was just trying to collect some of the ground sentiments. He was trying to speak to the devotees who are super excited. One of the gentlemen said that this occasion is even bigger than Diwali for us. We come here every year, and this year we have noticed a lot of changes over there. Shantanu, Neena, Brijesh, I requested you, please stay with me here on the broadcast while we are also trying to reconnect with Sabyasachi. With that, we are quickly slipping into a very short commercial break. Do stay with us. We'll come right back.
खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कर आता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया।